first, just how did the working out the game plan against Georgia go today?
I thought it went well. I was pleased with the practice we had today, and it's just base first, second down start situations that we have in today, base run game, base protections, things that base defense against what we think they're going to do on first and second down. But it went really well.
Bob?
Hey, Sam, I guess Hunter told the Board of Trustees, I think it was yesterday, that the athletes are going to have equality patches on their jerseys, at least I think if they want to. Just wonder what your thoughts were on that.
No, we'll all be wearing equality patches on our jersey. To me, a uniform's a uniform, and we've all decided that's what we want to do, and so we're certainly excited about that situation, that the guys can have a voice and wear the patch, and we're excited to do it.
Yeah, Coach, with it being the first day of Georgia prep, did you get a sense of added excitement or energy now that you're getting ready for an actual game?
Yeah, the excitement was high today. The music at stretch was the best it's ever been, so the guys were all excited, and they were revved up to go. It was really, really a good practice, a really good Monday type practice.
Scotty?
Hey, Sam, I wanted to ask you about Isaiah Nichols. Coach Odom has said that you guys have been asking him to do a lot, and I think we've seen him running with the first team a little bit. Just what kind of a player you think he might be this year, and you might need him to be this year?
Well, I think he's one you can count on. He's very consistent. We've been playing him inside at both positions, nose and three, and obviously when we go in our multiple fronts, he's playing other positions as well. But he's done a really nice job. And again, I think his biggest, if I thought about him, it would be consistency. He's a very consistent player, one you can count on. Been really proud to see his development.
Trey Biddy?
Yeah, Coach, now that fall camp's behind you and you're moving on to Georgia prep, you feel comfortable with everything that you guys have gotten into this point? And, I mean, you basically got to work everybody like they could start for you, I guess, with the coronavirus.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think we have plenty of offense, plenty of defense, and we're trying to fine-tune what we're going to do against the University of Georgia. The virus is obviously real, and you have to adjust. We test 3 times a week, so there have been some adjustments made, and you're right. You have to be able to play different guys at different positions to make sure by game time that you have your best 11 out there at one time.
Tom?
Hey, Sam, you said on your radio show that you just come off the best practice at camp, and I was wondering what was it that led you to say that was the best practice? What happened in that practice, and what do you feel really good about? What are you confident in going into the game?
Well, I was proud of the assignment football, that practice, and the physicality of it. I thought it was a physical practice on both sides of the ball, not a lot of mistakes, no balls on the ground. We're not throwing interceptions. I just thought it was a nice, crisp practice. Going to the game confident-wise, we obviously haven't been out there yet, but, I feel like we're going to be able to do some things in the passing game, and I'm confident that we will have enough defense to try to figure out a way, to adjust on what Georgia's doing. I think knowledge-wise, the guys can run multiple fronts and be in the right positions.
I'm not seeing a lot of faces, so let me know if you've got questions in the chat. Nate?
Yeah, Sam, as far as the offensive line, you've said that people have been kind of in and out with various things. Just how confident are you you're going to have what a pretty decent first offensive line against Georgia.
Well, I think we'll be fine there. Obviously we have 3 more tests in COVID, but I think that we're setting in good shape there to put a quality offensive line out there, and certainly that's what we're expecting. But again, we continue to test each week, and that can certainly adjust who's out there. But I think we have enough depth there. If something did happen, then we'd be in pretty good shape.
Bob?
Sam, I guess the SEC announced today, I think there were suggestions, not mandates, but 53-man rosters, 1 center, which I thought was a good idea, that you should have at least 1 center. But just wondering what you thought about that. How good do you feel about you guys being able to fulfill those obligations, I guess?
We talked in the head coaches meeting about 7 O linemen, 4 D linemen, a quarterback, 53 squad, scholarship squad at minimal. Those will all be minimum requirements to play. I feel very, very, very confident that we'll be able to do that. We have 3 more tests, but I feel very confident that our kids will be able to quarantine themselves and stay in this bubble that we've been staying in and get to the game.
Coach?
Yeah, Coach, I had asked you a couple of weeks ago if there were any walk-ons that you may have put it on scholarship, and you said you weren't ready to name them yet. Are you ready to name them now? Are there any guys you put on scholarship?
Well, we put Luke Jones on scholarship, and we put Simeon Blair on scholarship, and those are the 2 that we put on.
Hey, Biddy.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering if you could go into detail a little bit more about the testing, like what days you guys do it, how long does it take to get the results back? Are they all the same test? Are they, I guess, a different test and I'm talking mainly about game week, not what you've done in the past, but how does the game week testing look like?
Well, we're in game week. Last week we started, Trey, with game week protocol, and so you test on Sunday, you'll get your results back sometime Monday, could be in the afternoon, could be in the evening. You test Wednesday, same thing, you'll get the results back Thursday, could be in the afternoon, could be in the evening. And then Friday's what they call a rapid test, and that's supposed to be a 15-minute return on negative or positive. So we went through that this week. We tested, obviously, the rapid test today, and then we'll turn around and test again Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday of the remainder 11 weeks.
Nikki?
Coach, this is a little off topic, but the NCAA announced, they're extending the dead period through the end of the year. Just what does that mean for your recruiting class? Do you feel like it's fair to make kids sign a national letter of intent without them, a good majority of them, not having ever been to campus?
Well, Nikki, it's always recruiting, so recruiting is always a good question. But it's fair if they want to sign. In other words, nobody's making them sign early. They certainly can sign late. It works 2 ways. Obviously they don't know quite as much about us. We don't know quite as much about them unless they get here, but we're willing to certainly take that chance, or I don't know the word for it, but we're willing to take who we like and who we've offered if they're willing to sign early. So we're certainly not trying to force anybody to sign early, but if they're ready and know that they want to come to Arkansas, we'd be more than happy for them to sign with us.
I didn't really mean you guys. I mean, the NCAA, but thank you.
I know, and you're 100% right. I mean, it's tough on the kids because, some of them have never seen their college, have to do a good job of Zoom, have to do a good job over the phone, things of that nature, recruiting the parents, the coaches, whatever. But I do think it's very, very difficult on the kids. However, if they don't sign early, there's nothing to say that there's going to be an open recruiting in January either. So either the NCAA decides to push it all way back, or we just go with what's now. And if they want to sign with a team, then sign in that early day in December. And that's a tough situation.
You know, we talked to Scott Fountain a couple of days ago, and he said you started working on him when, you know, there's a possibility you could get this job. And I know in the past you've told us you think he's one of the best special teams coaches in the country. Why? What makes a great special teams coach?
Passion for what he does, knowledge for what he does. Scott is one of the most, I don't know, he is a thorough football coach. I mean, he's a meticulous football coach, very knowledgeable and a proud man. So he wants that product that he puts out there to be a reflection of him and his work. And been a lot of places, been a lot of good places. And we were just really fortunate that he decided he chose us. And again, I'm putting the friendship totally separate. If I say I didn't like him at all, I'd still think he's a really good special teams coach.
Chef?
Coach, I just wanted to ask about, obviously this year the university has put out some things that aren't going to be happening, like the normal traditions of running through the A, the Hog Walk. Have you talked to the players about it's not going to be the same as what you're used to, or the freshmen, that you're not going to get to experience that this year? And then on your transportation to the game, are you going to have more buses because of distancing on the buses?
Yeah, we're going to have extra buses. We're for home games, you're not going to be on that bus very long at all, but we'll certainly have extra buses. We had a mock game, so our team knows that there's not going to be any A out there, nor Hog Walk, because we tried to do exactly what we're going to do coming next Saturday. It's disappointing. It's disappointing for the fans. It's disappointing for the band. I mean, it's disappointing for certainly our players. Heck, it's disappointing for me as a coach. Everybody likes game day. It's disappointing for the tailgaters. And I get it. But when we all come back and get together, it'll be that much more satisfying, I think. But yeah, we have addressed that with the football team.
Sam, Scott Fountain had a pretty good job at Georgia. You came here to be the head coach. He came here for, I guess, the same position. How tough was it to pry him away from Georgia? What was that conversation with Kirby like?
Well, I'm not going to tell you what the conversation with Kirby was, but Scott, he's a different guy. Once he decides what he wants to do, then that's what he's going to do. He is assistant head coach here, so we did bump his title up, and I think Scott has aspirations of being a head coach or something of that nature down the road, and he'd be a good one. But we're neighbors, we're friends, and that certainly, I hope, played a part of him deciding to come to Arkansas.
Russell?
Coach, what do you want to see from your team this year? Maybe not in terms of wins and losses, but just what would you like to see them accomplish?
I want them to play hard. I want them to be physical. I mean, I want you to feel, if you're in the stands, that we have a team out there that's excited to be out there, and no matter the situation. And I want you to see a team that's together, one that cares about each other, one that plays for each other. And that's not Fantasy Island now. That's what happens on good football teams. And we want, when you leave the game, we want you to be proud of us. And most people are proud if the effort's there, the execution's there, and they know that you're well prepared, and that you go out there and you play hard. And that's what the expectations of our team is, and that's what I believe that you'll see.
Gary?
Coach Pittman, what do you feel like are you most proud of that y'all accomplished in your first camp as a head coach?
Well, the number one goal is to win the football team, to win the trust of the team. And how do you see it? You see it in effort. You see it in the way they talk to you, the way they react to things, whether it be positive or negative. I think we've accomplished that. You'd have to ask the players, but I think we've accomplished that. And that's what, look, if we're not all in this together, we can't win. I mean, you can't. And the first thing you have to do is you have to get your team and all of us be able to run through that brick wall together. And we'll have to wait and see, but I certainly believe that our team feels that way. And I know as sure as heck we feel that way about them.
Nikki?
Coach, let's say someone's rolling off the quarantine or positive list this coming week. By what point during the week, like, would you say you're comfortable with their, physical preparedness to play and mental preparedness to play as well? Like, by what date would they be cleared to go for Saturday?
You'd like, Nikki, basically the NCAA put in a percentile, if you will, where they have to be back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, by Wednesday, basically to go play in the game if they have tested positive. And now if you're in quarantine, you basically could come back, on a Friday before the game. I don't know that you'd get a lot of productivity out of a guy that didn't practice the entire week and came back Friday. So for me, certainly I wish that it would be the latest would be Tuesday, depending on the individual as far as skill level, maturity, things of that nature. How well does he know the offense, the defense, or the special teams, depending on what position he plays. Probably Wednesday would be the latest. But I've never seen really even great players come back on a Thursday and play up to their potential on a Saturday. So the long answer is I'd like them to be back by Tuesday.
Thank you.
Tom?
This tradition of staying in hotel rooms on Friday night before games, I don't know when that got started, but I'm wondering in this season.
It didn't start when I was at Pittsburgh State, I can tell you that.
Did it?
We stayed at our own place.
I'm wondering in this season if a money saving move to not do that, or are you in favor of it? How are you guys going to play that?
No, we're gonna go stay in a hotel. I think part of that is that you're in a bubble. You're quarantining them all there together. Where the idea was basically where everybody's at the night before the game. You can talk football with them. You can get the right nutrition in them and things of that nature. But the bottom line is you're probably going to have to give them each their own room. You really wouldn't want to give two guys in the same room. Because if the test came back, and then certainly you'd have to quarantine the other one. So there's a lot goes into that, like we talked about the bus and the travel on the plane, and obviously the rooming situation. So we'd like to get them out there, get them by themselves. That way, if something down the road did happen, that you wouldn't have to lose 3 or 4 guys on one positive test.
I've got a two-parter. First, what was it about Simeon Blair that you liked that made you put him on scholarship? And then also Felipe Franks. What's it say about him to be named a captain in his first year in the program?
Well, let's talk about Simeon first. I think he's starting on 4 special teams for us. He also has a role on defense. But he's a guy that, to me, he's a guy that what you want on your football team, a guy that's unselfish, that works hard, and he's going to help us on teams. So that's a big deal. for us, to me, if you start on 4 teams, you're a starter, and so I think he's earned that. And then with Felipe, I think he was emotional. When we talked about him being elected by his teammates as a captain, he took a major chance, leaving Florida and coming to Arkansas, or leaving Florida to begin with, and then choosing Arkansas, and then to go from, I want to play, I want to try to start, I want to do all these things, to the team electing him as a captain without spring ball. That's pretty reflective of him and his character. And he was very grateful and very thankful to the football team. I'm not going to tell you what he said, but it was an emotional moment. It was really neat. It kind of explains why you get into coaching.
Last one, Bob.
Sam, the Big Ten was the first conference to cancel the season. They kind of acted, I don't know, kind of holier than thou, like everybody's going to follow us. We're the Big Ten, and now they're following the SEC, kind of trying to play catch up at Pac-12 and Mountain West. I don't know who the hell else. And so I was wondering what your thoughts were on that, about the Big Ten getting back into the game. And then a quick follow-up: where'd you guys stay in Pittsburgh? What's the good place to stay in Pittsburgh back in the day?
205 West Jefferson's where I stayed. We didn't stay in a hotel. As a matter of fact, when we'd go to pregame, a lot of times we'd be in the cafeteria, and the other team would be just right there in the cafeteria. You kind of sizing each other up before the game, but that's just kind of how it was back then. As far as the Big Ten, I'm awful glad that they decided to play, because their players have worked extremely hard to be able to get out on the field, and I'm proud for those players and those coaches in that league.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.